What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Woodshed, and today we're going over the revival of the Root Rider in 2025. Let's go ahead and get into it. That's right, guys. You heard me here right. Today, I'm showing you guys how to use the Root Riders. As of right now, today is I'm in the middle of June 2025. I'm going to show you guys how to use the Root Riders and get that nice ground attack going right before the Eternal Tome rework, right? Where the Root Riders will still be nice and strong. I do think they will take a front seat in the meta once again before this change, or once this change takes place. So I'm going to show you guys how to actually use this attack. Now, for those of you who are impatient, who don't want to see the army comp, just want to see the attacks, right here. I'm going to place a timestamp, fast forward, boo, you're welcome. For those of you who do care, here is the army comp we're using, right? So, Clan Castle, there is a little bit of leniency. I will admit, I have also experimented with a Flame Flinger and a Troop Launcher. The Troop Launcher actually is my preferred siege barracks of all of these. You also can do something like a Haste Vial as opposed to the Hog Puppet. It really just kind of depends on personal preference, but the rest of this seems to be pretty set in stone for me, right? So I'm using 5 Root Riders, I'm using 8 Valkyries, an Ice Golem, excuse me, an Apprentice Warden, a couple Headhunters, 4 Healers, a couple Balloons, of course, Coco Loons, right? And then just some cleanup troops along with an Electro Titan, right? That's kind of the army composition. I am not using the Minion Prince. It's not an air army. Occasionally, I have seen people get away with that. It's not my cup of tea personally, so I'm using the Barbarian King. And I actually am equipping the Royal Jelly to him. A lot of people have issues funneling your Barbarian King specifically. So the Angry Jelly actually helps keep him exactly where you need to. I have played around with a Giant Gauntlet. Giant Gauntlet works fine. As opposed to like Spiky Boots or Earthquake Boots and Spiky Ball. But I tend to prefer this, that way he doesn't get stuck on walls basically at all. Now, without any further explanation, let's go ahead and get into some of the raids. Alright, starting out, you guys will notice we're actually on Supa 2, so I don't have completely maxed troops. I've been using this on Supa 2 so I can stay sharp with my air attacks on my main account. So I'm learning some versatility here. I'm hoping you guys do the same, right? So, what we're actually going to do here to start off, you notice we have 6 invisibility spells, and we are rocking the Spirit Fox on a Royal Champion. Yes, we are going to Spirit Walk. I also call it juggling, so therefore you guys will hear it in the rest of the video. I'll be calling it, I'm juggling my Royal Champion. I'm juggling the invisibility spells with the Spirit Fox, but most people refer to it as Spirit Walking. Now, what I want to do with the Spirit Walking as opposed to a traditional Royal Champion dive, what I want normally in a Royal Champion dive, I just want pure value. I want to get a Monolith, I want to get a Town Hall, I want to get some Spell Towers, I want to get an Air Defense and some multis, and you still want that, but you're not going to get to everyone. What you really need to focus on, and shout out to my clanmate White Chocolate, who during CWL was trying to show me this attack, you actually want to set a funnel for your troops for your Root Riders. So, I'm going to come in over this way with my Royal Champion. Normally what decides where I go is I'm trying to go in on some Ricochet Cannons. Anything else I get on top of that is just butter, and you, of course, will get a handful of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to Royal Champion over here, right? I'm going to go in on this little corner right here. And the key here is every time there's a 6 on the clock up here, you can't see it because this was not exactly a 3-minute thing. Every time that the clock has a 6 on it, you are going to place your invisibility spell. So at 256, drop an invis. 246, drop an invis. You can see, by doing this, my Spirit Fox and my Royal Champion take a very small amount of damage, but not much. See, same thing. They're visible for half a second. And doing the same thing, just half a second. They're visible, they have a small amount of damage taken, and it's very important that when you're doing this to try and predict where your Royal Champions go. And don't just cover where she is now, cover where you think she's going to go. So you notice I'm placing these, and I'm trying to cover as much distance as I can with these invisibility spells, right? So, same thing, she's coming over here, she's coming up to the Archer Queen, Bomb Tower, all that kind of stuff. I do actually think she's going to go up to that mortar, she does not. I panic here, and I see all this damage coming in. Now, it is not crucial to keep the Spirit Fox alive at this point. The attack does work substantially better when she is alive. Me saving the Spirit Fox here and recalling actually is what saves this attack for me. Let me show you and explain. I'm going to use a Archer Queen up here, giant arrow, right? And I'm just doing that just to set a little bit of funnel. So my troops will all come through here when I place my Valkyries and whatnot. That we don't have to worry about them trying to walk and trying to funnel through there, right? I'm going to Ice Golem first. Of course, if it goes down, it's going to be an immediate free spell, which is what we love to see. I am spamming Root Riders, my Cocoloons, then my healers. Then I'm actually going to place down the Electro Titan. Of course, going to help with big supports. A nice big tanky troop helps attack the heroes, helps with Skelly spells, helps with Ice Golems in the Clan Castle because of that aura, right? So we want that. I'm going to place the Valkyries, Apprentice Warden. I do place a Headhunter in here. I probably placed them both, actually. I only placed one of them. And then I placed down all my heroes. Now, this is why the Healing Tome is so important. Because I'm actually going to use it very early in order to keep my Spirit Fox and my Royal Champion alive and actually give them more health. Now, what we're going to do through the start of this base is we see stuff like this. You'll actually see I saved an invisibility spell so I could force my Root Riders and my Royal Champion up this way. And you'll actually see I'm dropping Rage spells. I'm going to Rage spell, basically drop all three of them in this compartment right here. I'll do it here. I'll probably do one here. Maybe here. But more likely, bam, 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 and let it go out. And the reason for that being is because my Root Riders don't inflict enough damage necessarily to necessarily get out-healed and be tanky enough to outdo all the defenses. But what they can do is with some raids, they can out-damage them before they take that much damage. And you'll see it's very important that, again, I'm placing these rage spells front going, but my healers are walking into them, giving me huge, huge, huge value from that, right? Going through, and you'll see this is why I like the troop launcher, because I am getting just random giants and random wall breakers and stuff just being thrown into this. And now I'm just going to have a random Valkyrie going around the outside. Still getting some launch. I'm hitting those Earthquake Boots, really open up that compartment for the giants and stuff. Again, not that they're going to be huge, but they will help. And you will notice Spirit Fox is still alive right there. That's why saving her in a case like this, when I don't get massive value like that, although getting a Ricochet Cannon is very nice, it's not the end of the world if I don't get anything big, if I can save that Spirit Fox. Because look, now the only defenses left is that one Ricochet Cannon's going to die to the king. But I have my Spirit Fox. I have almost a full health Royal Champion. And I still have her ability. Her ability actually gets swagged. I didn't need her ability. Thanks to having the Spirit Fox. That's what makes this thing. And I'm using the deck collector goblins or whatever the hell they're called. Just to help clean up at the end. That's all they're really good for. So, cool. Let's do another attack. And let's do this one a little faster now. Let's do this one, alright? Alright, now we're going to do this one together. Attack number 2, right? So, here's what we're going to do. Same thing, right? I'm trying to set a funnel. I'm thinking, where can I set a funnel from easily? Down here. Looks like I got to go a little ways, right? And I'm only going into an archer tower, a mortar, a multi-archer. Not huge value there. I don't want to come in from this side, because even though there is a Ricochet Cannon, there are 2 max level Ricochet Cannons up top. So, I'm going to go for one of those. And which one am I going to go for? I'm going to go for the one on the left side of the 2 that I have showing. The reason being, it actually seems to be, to me, this is my thought, that most people actually put their tornado traps and stuff on the right-hand side of their bases if they have a choice between left and right. So to say left and up, right? But you get the idea. They put it on the right side because people tend to attack from the right because they're right-handed, so they tend to look and they favor this side. So I try to favor the opposite side in most of my attacks. So same thing, right? I'm going to drop my Royal Champion down over here. We're going to go in on this Wizard Tower and this Ricochet Cannon over here. And same thing. Every time there's a 6, so 256, which is 4 seconds in, boom, it hits that. Going in on that, I'm going to let her take a shot. Nope, doesn't even take a shot. Now, in a case like this where I'm going after a Wizard Tower, because it doesn't do a lot of damage, I'm going to let it hit her. Now, I will say there is a problem with a base like this and going for this Royal Champion juggle, right? These Town Halls absolutely obliterate the Spirit Fox. In my opinion, it would be more important to keep the Spirit Fox alive than to risk her life for less value or for slightly more value. So, in this case, you'll actually get to see that. Going for that air defense, boom, boom, boom. Going to drop that down here. I'm actually going to get a little aggressive with the invisibility spells after this next one because it's actually going to hit. A lot's going to hit. And that Spirit Fox is so close to dead. Very unfortunate, right? So what I'm actually going to do is be a lot more aggressive with my invisibility spells. I'm actually not going to give them the chance to juggle. I'm actually just going to keep hitting them. And just going to go for pure value right here. Yeah, so I got one more. It was in the middle of the invis, so I didn't bother hitting it. Again, if you use that 6 rule, you'll be in great shape. And right here, I'm just going to recall after this last invis. I see that, recall, boom, got one of those out. And then I'm going to come up from up here. I'm going to giant arrow this direction. Yeah, look at that. So she's going to hit the invisibility spells, Ice Golem, Root Riders, Balloons, Healers, Valkyries, Electro Titan, which is good because you guys can actually see there was some skeletons up here. I can't rewind because the replay system. Thank you, Supercell. Please, please, please make it like Clash Royale where I can back and forth 10 seconds, please, and thank you. And you see again that big free spell coming through, right? Starting to slow everything down. King, Warden coming through, right? Royal Champion coming back. And again, early Warden ability is going to actually heal that Spirit Fox, which is going to create so much value. But on a base like this, where you can get into the core and have your main army still alive, it doesn't matter a whole lot. Because there's so much value to be had in this middle compartment, regardless of what's really going to go on. You can see they even have that invisibility tower. Again, I'm raging through this middle compartment, right, trying to open it up. I actually hit a early spiky ball as opposed to opting for another rage because I wanted as much damage done to those Inferno Towers in this. I'm pointing with my hands like you guys can see. There's not much done on this side of the base because I didn't want that to just take up my Barbarian King. And that's going to leave me with one rage spell left. It should not be very hard. That's right, I'm going to rage right through this. Still have so much to do, and as you can see, Royal Champion still alive and well. Spirit Fox up to full health, which is huge, huge, huge. Like I said, keeping the Spirit Fox is not, keeping her alive is not a necessity, but is a very, very nice touch. And as you guys can see, this is a much more commanding attack, a much, much better one from my end too. A little bit of an easier layout though. I won't lie to you guys, but a much better job by my part getting value and getting her out of there, right? So I'm going to show you guys one more example, and then we will recap. All right. Similar idea, a little bit of a crunched up base, but that middle compartment is going to have that Clank Castle. It's going to slow us down. There's a lot of damage value there, right? We have scatter shots, fire spitters, the multi-gear tower, a lot of long range expos. There's a lot of stuff in that middle compartment that's really going to hurt and slow us down. So how are we going to deal with that? We're going to rage through it. What do you mean, how are we going to deal with that? I'm going to roll a champion church somewhere over here. Yep, that's right. I'm going to get into this section. It's a little tricky when it comes to those poison towers because they won't always trigger. But if you destroy one, you really are putting your champion and your Spirit Fox in harm's way. So you see she actually walks out of that thanks to that invisibility. And again, I'm taking this approach, right, where I'm like, I tell you that keeping the Spirit Fox alive is not the end of the world. Like, if she dies, you can salvage the raid. But it does help drastically if you can keep her alive, right? So what am I going to do here? I see how weak she is. I'm going to get aggressive with those invisibility spells. That's why I bring 6 instead of just 4. I'm going to get incredibly aggressive, trying to get that extra value right here. Hoping that I can heal those 2 later on. Got a little sketchy right there. Dropping one more, hoping to get that last little bit of value. I'm not going to be able to finish it. That's okay. We recall. We giant arrow up here. Again, just taking out some stuff. Getting a little bit of a funnel going. Same thing. Ice Golem, Root Riders, Loons, Healers. Then we put in the Valkyries, the Electro Titan, everything going to try and push in that middle. And you see that nice freeze. That's why Ice Golems are fantastic to put out in front of anything. Even if you're a Royal Champion dive, an Ice Golem's not a bad idea to put out in front. It's definitely not necessary. Don't get me wrong. But there's a reason it's been around for a long time and why people take it, because it's a free spell. Then I'm putting in everything. I'm putting in my Royal Champion, hitting that early Warden ability. It is definitely better to get the Warden ability a little bit later in the raid if you can. I get so much value out of my Royal Champion. I care more about having that and the Spirit Fox alive in this scenario. You should hold on to it longer. I'm impatient. Most people would rage through this. They would, what would you say? They would Eternal Tome in this area, and then they would rage through the back half of the base. I'm the other way around. I'm going to Eternal Tome at the start, and I'm going to rage through everything getting into this middle base, hoping that I've done enough damage quickly enough that it does not matter. So, what am I going to do now? Oh man, that is pretty harsh. But thankfully, again, Troop Launcher throwing random fucking nonsense in the way of that is doing actually amazing. We actually have the bomb already. You see all the rage spells I've thrown down right there already. Queen did take the poison tower to the face, which is good. That really does hinder Root Riders, not because it does so much damage, but because it slows them down and keeps them in harm's way longer. And again, you'll notice I still have my Hog Puppet hit, which is still fantastic. I'm saving that on a lot of these, which means I do have room for error. And as you guys can see, there is little to no conversation about how the end of this is going to go. Still a very convincing, very commanding attack. I do highly recommend everybody use this. In every tournament I play, this seems to be an attack that everybody seems to love to use. It's old reliable. What a surprise. But this is something you guys should add to your repertoire if you absolutely can. Like I said, some people, and myself included, like the haste file over the hog puppet. Because while the Spirit Fox is invisible to the world champion, you can haste file and get so much value out of it. It's absurd. Sometimes I wish I had it. It just kind of depends on my mood and how I'm feeling. But everything else I would not change. I know somebody's thinking, why aren't I using the magic mirror, or why aren't I using the giant, the action figure to help funnel? It tends to actually distract the healers, and they actually tend to go towards that way, so I hate doing that. Please don't make that same mistake I did for like 3 days trying to figure out why I wasn't working, why the attack wasn't working. But I hope you guys learned something from this, and let me know how you guys like this attack in the comment section below. I'd love to get your feedback on it. Thank you guys so much for coming by and watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks, everybody.